outstanding, so I stand out. I'm a reject, I don't fit in with you clowns. I'm too fly, allergic to the ground.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Social Rejectz podcast. We are your co-hosts, Rob and KB.
Gang.
And if this is your first time tuning in, we are two dope black dudes that created the podcast you didn't know you needed. On today's agenda, we're going to be talking about the dearly departed, tragically canceled summer 2020.
R.I.P.
Due to our shelter in place, we're not recording from our home-based studio, so please excuse any background noise, including the 2 train kindly gliding commuters from place to place. Before we jump into the content, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors of the video, Anchor. Well, not the video, this is podcast episode. Episode 1 is sponsored by Anchor.
We're not editing that out either.
No, we're not. It's too much work. Absolutely too much work. Anchor is an all-in-one platform where you can create, distribute, and monetize your podcast from any device for free. So if you're looking to start a podcast or if you have a podcast going already, check out Anchor. It's a great one-stop shop for you, and it helps you get your information out there to the public. Now that we got that out of the way, let's jump into today's topic and talk about how summer just was canceled, and we all thought we were going to have a dope summer 2020. And then summer 2020 came out and was like, what was all that junk you was popping about my cousin 19? And then there's no summer. That's just basically that.
Yeah, we went from summer bod to COVID bod.
Oh no. And everybody is walking around here looking like Wolfman now.
Hey, I got the wolf on deck.
Who had that meme that they was looking real great? Was DJ Khaled?
Oh, DJ Khaled looked like you remember in Iron Man, the first one? I don't know if you see anybody that's seen the first Iron Man in the very beginning when he gets kidnapped.
Oh yeah. No, I got one better.
Khaled looked just like one of them.
No, I got one better. Thor from Ragnarok.
Yo. Bruh. That's what everybody looking like right now.
Exactly.
We all look like Thor from Ragnarok.
But it looks like we're going to be closed for a while. The WhiteHouse.gov did publish some information about the 3 phases. And basically, we're going to advance in phases of opening up the country as there are no reported cases. So anytime there's a reported case, we're going to recycle back to phase 1. So we have to have a succession of, I don't know if they're going to keep that time frame going.
Level. Okay.
But it's going to keep recycling. I believe we are most places are in phase 2. Some places are still in phase 1. It really depends on the contamination. So in order for us as a community to advance to opening up, we have to keep our social distance and maintain everything being safe. But yeah, this is not going to happen anytime soon. They're already talking about how schools are supposed to be starting on part-time schedule in the fall.
So that's the crazy part, because my actual job is I work at a school, and one of the things that they were talking about was about that, because it seems like certain parts of the country will have certain guidelines versus other parts of the country, like hotspot regions like New York City, LA. They're going to have completely different restrictions versus
That's true.
Like Montana, Wyoming, where they already don't have a high population nor a high amount of cases.
Well, I don't know. I'm interested to see how these kids are going to transition into school in the fall. They had to cancel things like Regents and SATs, which honestly doesn't affect everywhere. Regents is one of those things that only affects California and New York.
Well, every state has a state mandated test.
Yeah.
So like Texas, we got the STAR test, which is the same exact thing. And all of that was canceled. So I think most state tests were canceled though, if not all.
I feel like in a lot of ways, this is going to reform how education is done, because it's easier to reform education at this point than for you to try to backtrack and go back to the old way.
Right. Like even one of the things that they were talking about was doing like a blended classes, like how some college classes, how you take you go to the campus Monday and Wednesday, Thursday is like a lab day.
Yeah.
Like going that approach to where I think they were talking about alternating grades on which days certain grades come in, so that the whole building isn't full of
so that's
students.
Never 100% capacity.
But yet the teachers are there every day because they still have their regular job. But the students alternate. And here comes the 6 train.
Shout out to the 6 train. But what's crazy though is now this is forcing parents
to be parents. What? That's crazy.
They gotta watch.
I gotta watch my own kid,
and
I gave birth to them. Is that not a?
You guys gotta be teachers now. You gotta teach lessons and keep up with lesson plans and all of that stuff now.
But not all of us passed.
I'm tight. If you when you contact the teachers, the school gives you step-by-step instructions. It's just a lot more difficult than it seems
Yeah,
to be a
math is
teacher.
not math.
Oh, absolutely. Common Core, yeah. Math is not math. Math is like a jigsaw puzzle at this point.
Yeah. Anyway, math's stupid.
But I'm wondering how these kids are acting at home. I wish that we had a live radio station so I could have people call
we
in.
know how kids are acting.
What's really good, Kendall?
The memes tell you how kids are acting at home. These memes is wild crazy. Like I saw one that said, "I'm gonna need somebody to come pick up these kids. I don't know how teachers do it." I seen one that said, "Teachers need to be allowed to have alcohol in order to deal with the students." And these are coming from parents. I saw one that was saying like, so for people to have kids in like elementary school, things like that, the schools send out a list to the parents of things that the kids need to bring, like toilet paper, tissue, stuff like that. And I saw a meme saying the parents are like, whenever school open, we'll give you whatever you want.
Basically.
We'll give you twice the amount. Just get these kids out my face.
I feel like this is really going to, I don't know. I've worked in education, and I feel like this is going to force people to really appreciate the work that the teachers are doing and these teaching assistants are doing. It's not easy to educate your kids.
The one thing I just thought about too is like, what about the at-risk kids who don't have the best situations?
That's a fact. There's kids out there that have like mental health disabilities or autism or even just learning disabilities.
I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about kids that got just bad housing situations, like
that too.
Like mom and dad dope fiends, like bad
or they don't like you.
Situations.
They just don't straight up.
Like
don't
school
like
is your escape.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So we're waiting for schools to open back up. Hopefully it'll give some, not only just more appreciation to teachers out there, but it'll give a better balance for the kids. Because if you're a child and you're stuck at home, you didn't sign up for college. You are in all of kindergarten. Like there's no reason for you to be doing online classes and having to do your own study sessions.
But a lot of the school is like online based anyway. Like a lot of schools use like Schoology or Google Classroom, stuff like that. So kids, even younger kids, are starting to get acclimated to online learning.
Yeah.
So I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult. The issue is that not everybody is in the best living situation for that.
Well, another issue that they are going to have a problem with, I'm pretty sure that when schools do open at full capacity, they're going to probably include the COVID vaccine as one of the mandated
shots.
Yeah, because right now you have to get the MMRs, and if you don't have that, you can't go to school. Currently, there is a lot of bid and money and research overseas on putting together a certain batch of vaccines to be made available to medium to low income people.
Bro.
Are you going to take the vaccine, KB?
Bro.
You taking the vaccine? You going to take the shot or no?
Bro. It doesn't matter to me because I've been shot with a whole bunch of other stuff anyway, so whatever. I personally would. I don't mind being the guinea pig. I feel like I'm immune to everything anyway. But
nowadays,
I can see the concern because all a vaccine is across the board is a very low, supposedly harmless dose of whatever it is that you're being vaccinated from. So if there's a COVID-19 vaccine, they didn't have to put COVID-19 in the vaccine in order for it to be effective. That's going to be a concern because technically only like 1% of the population is even affected by this, period. It's still a lot of people. 1% of 7 billion. It's like what,
that's
7 million or 700 million or something like that. I don't know. Somebody will correct the math because somebody out there likes math. I don't. But that being the case, if you only have less than 1% that are affected by it, and let's say for argument's sake 2% of the people have been properly exposed to where they have antibodies for it, you're now going to be purposely infecting 98% of the world's population with COVID-19 in order to prevent the death of the 2% that was already affected by it.
That makes sense.
From a number standpoint, a vaccine seems kind of pointless. If it was on a larger scale, like the flu, like I can't think of one person that doesn't have flu-like symptoms every time it's flu season.
That's a fact, yeah.
So a flu vaccine makes sense. COVID vaccine, it seems like it's a hysteria that's making it not that it's not a big issue, but it's the hysteria that's making it a bigger issue to where they're taking the steps that don't need to be taken yet. Now,
Well, I don't know that
Freddie,
it's going to happen anytime soon. It's going to take a while for sure, but they're doing some research to try to build it. One of the problems that I can foresee is that the flu-like symptoms and the COVID symptoms are
identical.
Exactly. So if you are getting a shot for one, it kind of to me would make sense to get a shot for the other, because how are you going to determine
which is which? I mean, and that low key makes sense because the shots that they give kids for measles, mumps, and rubella, those are 3 completely different things that you can get, but it's all in one shot. So if you mix the COVID shot with the flu shot, but then there's people that don't get the flu shot either. So
there's people that don't get the flu shot.
You can't make people take the shot, but I feel like it should still be available because, like, I'm all for vaccination. I'm all for pouring dirt in the wound to build the immune system. So I mean,
what in the flesh Kendall? Send me the kids, please.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Tell Audrey to just send me the kids, because when I cannot have you.
I feel like the issue with our generation now is people are so allergic to stuff because they were not exposed to it. So then as they get older, they get exposed to it via whatever means you want, and now all of a sudden they have this allergy to it that will kill them. Because they weren't exposed to it.
They don't have the antibodies that they need to fight those things. That's one really big problem with our society, for sure.
Like, what happened to all the gluten allergies in the 70s? Or allergies, the 80s. Period. Or the 90s.
Pollen allergies.
Like, gluten-free food was not a thing K through 12 for us at all. That wasn't even an option. The most we had was those Snapple vending machines. Thank you, Bloomberg.
Yeah. I think a lot of those conditions in terms of like dietary stuff probably always existed. People are just starting now to pay more attention to it and be more sensitive.
But I feel it's because the effect of that. Like, yes, I've always been lactose intolerant. However, if I didn't grow up drinking milk at all, to where my body starts to regulate how it's going to handle that, then all of a sudden at age 30 I start drinking milk, of course I'm going to be in the bathroom for like a day and a half max, because my body has no idea what to do with that, because it's never been exposed to it.
That's true. That's like for people that's never eaten meat before,
right? Which is crazy, because that's exactly how it works. People that switch their diet like that first couple days, weeks, months, depending on what type of diet change it is very difficult, which is why a lot of people don't diet, because it's too hard that first stage. But the people that fight through that on the inside, not the inside, on the end result of that, they end up being advocates for these diets. Like, no, it really works. You just got to get through this little hurdle. But I'm not willing to do all that. That's too much work.
Okay. Well, bringing it back, I think that there's definitely a difference between your MMRs and your flu shots. When you get your MMRs, those are vaccines that last for years. The flu shot, the problem is that the flu changes every year, so
it's a virus. Yeah.
You can't really do that, and that's the problem with viruses as well. COVID is one of those much more complicated viruses.
Aren't viruses?
Well.
Those aren't viruses?
I do not
I don't know nothing about that. I'm not a
so.
medical doctor.
I don't think that they're viruses. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're not viruses. But like you said, viruses do mutate and they change, especially when they're challenged. They need to be suppressed continuously. Otherwise, they will learn from the way that they've been fought, and they will basically mutate stronger, and you need to take harder medications to suppress it.
So what you're saying is that viruses are professional fighters?
Absolutely.
So we should make COVID virus UFC heavyweight champion of the world.
If they're already not, like,
hashtag UFC,
we need to just hand COVID the belt at this point. They took out way more people than any UFC fighter. But
way more.
The numbers is up there, and I'm wondering are we gonna get a COVID shot every year, or is the COVID shot just gonna be a stronger version of the flu shot? Because the flu shot essentially it gets us acclimated to flu-like symptoms and fighting it in the event that we do get the flu. So I'm thinking, since the symptoms are similar, why would we need to get the flu shot if we got the COVID shot?
So this is the thing, because COVID itself, coronavirus itself, isn't new. They had to call it 19 because this strand isn't like the other strands before it. Plus, it came out 2019, so it's easy to date it.
Right.
But there's going to be COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-22.
Oh, absolutely.
So the way you treat COVID-19 may not be the most effective way to treat COVID.
There's probably just going to be a shot every year then, because
similar to the flu, but it's the same
with
with the flu. The flu that came out 10 years ago isn't the same flu now. That flu died from 10 years ago. The flu now is
it died. It's
like it's bigger, tougher UFC fighting brother,
cousin, distant cousin,
distant cousin. Aunties, uncles, nephews, third cousin, twice removed niece.
That's wild. So, you are in a different part of the country.
Yes, Central Texas, U.S.
What is Central Texas looking like in terms of responding to COVID? Like, is everybody walking around with masks? Are people freaking out? What's going on out
Texas
there?
is a very unique state, at least from my perspective, in the sense of Texas is a state full of smaller states, I swear. So it's like Texas is its own separate country. Now I finally understand living there what they meant when they said that. They didn't mean it in a sense of they're so different from the rest of the country. It's just when you think of someone from, for example, California, you have a vision of what someone from California looks like. Anyone that's visited California, they then break it down into two regions, Northern California, Southern California. Mm-hmm. And the mannerisms are different between both. Similarities, because it's all still California, but there's subtle differences. Texas is very much like that, but multiplied. So if you're from Dallas, there are certain things you do that clearly identify you being from Dallas that someone from Houston would never do. Or someone from Austin or San Antonio, El Paso. All these major cities are completely different from one another. For example, here you got New York, meaning the city. You got Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and Bronx. Mm-hmm. From the outside looking in, it's all the same. Mm-hmm. And no one would even argue that. Like, there's subtle differences that are just us being from here nitpicking so that we stand out as different from our respective boroughs. Mm-hmm. But in reality, if you took someone from the Bronx and put them in Brooklyn and vice versa, no one would know the difference. Mm-hmm. Because it's still the same culture, for lack of a better term.
No one from the outside.
Right, from the outside perspective. Texas, it's not the same culture. So like the way Central Texas is handling it isn't the way Dallas is handling it. Dallas is on like New York City type status. Everything's closed, people can't gather, everybody got to wear masks, so the cops is going to get on you. Central Texas, like the small town part of Texas, it's more like if you're in a crowded location, it would be wise to wear a mask for obvious reasons. Mm. However, if you're just walking the dog, walking around in your neighborhood, taking out the trash, that's excessive. New York City, you walk outside, you better have a mask on.
You gotta have a mask on, yeah.
So it's definitely different. Like, even coming up here, you really feel like there's an actual virus happening, affecting the world. When you go to Central Texas, it's like, man, ain't nothing happening. They making this stuff up. I ain't seen not one sick person yet.
I feel that. I feel it's definitely different here in New York City. Upstate, it's not like this at all.
Right.
There are definitely places that will not let you in the store without wearing a mask, but those are people that I feel are adopting New York City culture into upstate New York. Walking around, there's not like police and stuff like that. When I got off the bus to come here, I was like, what's taking place right now? You get off the bus, they're locking down certain train stations, so you can only go through one entrance, which is crazy for New York, especially 42nd Street. That is out of control. Nuts. But they're barricading all of the intersections of 42nd Street.
They're streamlining it so they can keep flow down and minimize. And if you're people, but they can't tell people not to do stuff.
And if you're getting off the train or something like that, they're gonna ask you like, "What are you getting off the train for?" They'll be like, "What are you going? Where?" No, legit. They'll be like, "Where are you going? Like, do you live around here?"
And the funny part is, NYPD are still New Yorkers, so they still got that
arrogance
times 10 because
New Yorkers. They are head
so
first
it's
New Yorkers.
Like if it was a regular person,
New Yorkers, like
if it was a regular person, they would be talking wild, crazy to you, like, "Yo, where you? No, sit down. You ain't going nowhere." But now they got a gun, so it's like, I dare you to get up.
Right. Like, where you going? Nah, but when we got off at Port Authority, they were closing down the train stations, and we were like, how are we supposed to get home? This cop was like, look, I don't know what's going on. They closing down the train station. Everybody just needs to get up out of here. I don't know. I'm about to go home myself. I'm like, sir, wait a minute. I'm just asking you how I get home. I don't know how you going to get home. You better walk. I don't know. I got to go. I'm like, oh, wow, sir.
He was like,
wow.
Sir. He was like, you better hop on her back and y'all better get your phone out of here.
Exactly. All right. We running out of time now, so we got to draw a conclusion. Kendall? What's the moral of the story? Please give the people.
So the moral of the story is this: unless you live in the middle of the country to where you have enough land and property to where you can go outside, quote unquote, and do whatever you want, quote unquote, you ain't going nowhere. Work on COVID bod, eat all the snacks, all the food.
Wait, you can't tell the people to work on COVID bod. That's not healthy.
We tell them to work on summer bod. That's not healthy. Going on weird diets for 2 months is
I
very.
I ain't say go on diets. I'm just saying, like with the COVID bod,
but that's
you're
what
not as active.
But that's exactly what we're telling people when we say summer bod.
I ain't say summer bod. I'm saying just don't work on COVID bod. You should be working on healthier living.
Nah, bump that.
Now this. Okay.
Healthier living. Health is in the eye of the beholder.
What?
Some people think big people are attractive. They're called chubby chasers.
That's attraction. That's not health.
Right? Some people thrive at bigger sizes than smaller sizes.
Kendall, health is not in the eye of the beholder.
Like if you saw a skinny Samoan, something wrong.
What? Kendall.
I'm just saying.
We're ending the show.
No, wait, hold on.
We're ending the show right now. Wait. You about to
Let me get this out. Let me get this out.
No,
Let me get this out. It makes sense
health
though.
Is in the eye of the beholder.
It makes sense
health
though.
is in biology.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I'm talking about in terms of like physique, in terms of what, like to say COVID bod, it's the fact that people are gaining weight during this time because they're not as active as they were. For some people, that's not that detrimental to their long-term health as for others. Like someone that's naturally a bigger person, a culture that's naturally bigger people, ethnicity, aka Samoans who are by nature big, football players and wrestlers and all kinds of big stuff. That's their culture, has always been like that. They're not getting bigger. They've been doing this their entire existence. But someone that's small like me, if I start putting on 20, 30 pounds every couple weeks, there's something wrong.
Okay, so what you're trying to say.
So what I'm saying is,
what you're trying to
say that COVID bod isn't healthy seems like a messed up misconception.
You're right. To say that COVID bod is not healthy is a messed up misconception because people have different activity levels and different diets and different routines. So work on your COVID bod. No, we're not telling people to work on your COVID bod. We're gonna say
fine. Don't
work on your best
lazy bum and
self.
not work on your COVID bod.
Don't be late. Oh my goodness. We're ending it. It's over. Tune in. Make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're about to be giving some giveaways and
link, comment,
some free
and subscribe.
stuff.
Oh,
do
I'm
all of that
the
stuff.
Comment sections too.
Please don't start with Kendall. Just leave it alone, y'all. I know I'm going to deal with Kendall. Like, just don't do this, please.
I'm for it all.
Kendall, you can't do that. The podcast is going to get canceled. You can't be wanting smoke on. This is season 1, episode 1. We just got started.
I'm just saying.
You don't even know who's out there listening. You already trying to get
I'm setting it up.
Now this.
It needs to be consistent. Consistent since it is. I want
episode 2. On episode 2, we're going to be talking about social distancing, introverting, and a lot more
versus
awkward.
Extrovert.
Yeah, we're going to get into introvert, extrovert stuff, and some awkward stuff. Like, I want to talk about small talk. Like, I hate small elevator
Hey,
talk.
look, we're going to agree on something.
Wow. That's debatable. I don't know about that.
Wow. So when I'm trying to make it.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
You know what?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you hit us up on all socials.
The Social Rejectz.
Episode 2.
TheSocial.
Make sure that y'all stand out. Don't fit in. And no matter what you do, no matter what you take away from this episode, don't be like Kendall.
No matter what you take away from this episode, be yourself and don't let nobody deviate that.
Unless yourself is Kendall, then be like me.
Nah.